Welcome to Bank of America Arena here at the University of Washington as the Huskies get set to take on Texas Southern. The Huskies in Game 3 of the 8 games consecutive they'll play here at home. Portland State, Eastern Washington, Lehigh, Montana, Morgan State, and then the opener of the Pac-10 Conference at Washington State to take on the Cougars on January the 3rd. And Francis Williams, the Huskies defense has strengthened offensively. They've shown a little better discretion. They've taken care of the ball since getting wiped out against Kansas in Kansas City by 19. They've come back a 2-point loss against Florida, the win over Pacific, and Thursday the great win over the Cowboys at Oklahoma State.
Well, the pressure that the guards have been able to put on other teams has really started to make their opponents turn the ball over quite a bit. You see John Brockman, and people underestimate how good of an athlete he is out in the open court, getting a steal and going in for a layup. But ball pressure is critical for the Huskies because there are positions where they are undersized. So that backcourt pressure is the key to them being able to do what they want to do defensively.
Let's meet the starters for the University of Washington. It'll be Isaiah Thomas, the freshman from Curtis High School in Tacoma. Justin Dentman, a senior, alongside Darnell Gant in the middle. Will Anchor from Crenshaw High in Los Angeles, California. John Brockman and Quincy Pondexter along the front line. Coach of the Texas Southern Tigers is Tony Harvey, who had a nice conversation with before the ball game, along with Cameron Dollar. There's Lorenzo Romar, the head coach of the University of Washington. 216 wins, 163 losses in his record with the Huskies. Well, the Tigers will be starting Andre Hall, a junior, along with Matthew Miller, a senior. They rank 1-2 in scoring for this Texas Southern ball club that is 0-7 on the year. They are 0-5 on the road, 0-2 on a neutral court, so they haven't been to Houston to play yet. Tony Harvey, in his first year as the head coach of Texas Southern, was an assistant for 5 years at Missouri with Quinn Snyder, when Missouri, of course, did some very good things. Among other things, 2 Sweet 16 showings and 1 Elite 8 as well. We're underway here in Seattle, and Texas Southern will win the tip.
Well, we can expect Texas Southern to do some pretty good things offensively. I mean, they've been in every game, even though they're 0-7. And they've got some athletes on the floor and some guys that can score. You see they have 3 seniors in their starting lineup. So they're going to put up a good fight today.
This Texas Southern ball club has taken some beatings. They were beaten handily by Cincinnati. They're playing a very competitive schedule. So that, as Tony Harvey told us, they can get some exposure in these cities like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where they lost to Marquette, and Cincinnati, Ohio. They'll play Gonzaga in another week. They play Idaho as well. And they lead here 2-0, and they open up showing zone against the Huskies.
Yeah, well, they'll change their defenses quite a bit and do some things to try to disrupt things. Right now, it actually looks like they're in a triangle and 2 where they're going man-to-man against Thomas and man-to-man against Pondexter.
Driving into the lane, Pondexter sweeping right-hander up and in, and we're tied at 2.
And we talked about Quincy Pondexter in our open. Back-to-back good games for him, and again, the consistency is what they're looking for from him.
Ricky Boyles and Matthew Miller to bring it out of backcourt. This is Miller handling. Miller is from Navarro Junior College, making his senior year here at Texas Southern. Tony Harvey has a number of JUCO players to start his program, his first year there down in Houston, Texas. Inside pass and a drop-step pivot. Got to the cup, but Brockman's defense too much for Ricky Boyles. Dentman got in deep, tried to kick it out, had it deflected. This is Gant, whips a pass to Pondexter, denied and tipped out of bounds.
And consistency from Dentman is also being looked for as well. Last game against Oklahoma State, no turnovers in 28 minutes.
Michael Reed, Bobby McRoy, and Bill Kennedy are officials this evening here in Seattle. Along with Francis Williams, Kevin Calabro on hand. Huskies have shown improvement incrementally since that tournament in Kansas City. Particularly this man, Isaiah Thomas, has shown great discretion in the last 3 ball games and knowing when to shoot, when to pass. And that was a shot coming out of the set piece, the set offense of the inbounds pass.
Yeah, Isaiah, again, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, so it's very important that he understands what it takes to get his teammates involved and keep them involved, but then take shots when he's open.
Crowd size, Francis, when Pondexter got the ball in bounds, he had an open look. Now he'll get another look on the rebound. Putback won't go. Brockman deflects it out of bounds. Huskies come in as a tremendous offensive force on the glass. Defensively and offensively, they average 44 rebounds as a team, and Brockman, of course, leads them in that category at nearly 12 a game.
Yeah, they do an outstanding job, particularly on the offensive boards.
Well, the first thing that occurs to you when you look at this Texas Southern team is they've got length at all positions, particularly their guards. Hall at 6'6" and Miller at 6'3". Miller is fouled by Dentman.
Yeah, well, they've got some guys on the floor that can score as well. Hall had 29 against Cincinnati. Miller had 28 against Northern Iowa. So they've got some cats that can put the ball in the basket.
Thomas with the foul, not Dentman a moment ago, and then Thomas gets the ball back by establishing position, and Miller's called for the charge. So Southern will give it back to the Huskies here in the early going. Southern showing man defense. Now they come to trap the ball in the corner. Pondexter gets rid of it. Rotated out on top. Dentman has a step. Drifting to the cup. He had to arc that shot up over two long defenders, but drew the bump and will go to the line for two.
Well, there's opportunities there for the Husky guards to get into the lane with dribble penetration. And that time you just see Dentman get in there and find a seam, get the ball up off the glass, not be able to convert. But a bugaboo for the Huskies to this point in the season has been their free throw shooting, where they're shooting about 62% as a team, and that's another area where Coach Romar is looking for some improvement.
Last in the nation last year, can only get better, right?
Can only get better, exactly.
You'd think. Dentman hits both free throws. Free throw shooting better, 71%, said Lorenzo Romar, and the turnovers. Just 13. They valued the possessions and got more shots as a result. Here's Matthew Miller with it. Looking the wing, Jock Jones, skip pass thrown out of bounds.
A great job by the Husky defense to not allow Texas Southern to reverse the basketball.
Southern this year will have just 10 home, but 22 road games. Dentman doubled, kick out to Pondexter. Hands to Thomas. Dentman with the touch, looking for Pondexter at the near edge. Brockman fronted inside. Pondexter circles the defense. One-on-one over a double team won't go. That frees Brockman on the offensive glass, but jabbed away and controlled by Miller on the push. This is Jock Jones with it. Jones is 6'7". Ricky Boyles, 6'7". They've got some length. Here's an elbow jumper away and off the mark. Brockman with the rebound on the Michael Drew he missed.
It's good offense by Texas Southern to get that wide open look.
Now Brockman gets a look trailing, and he'll knock it down.
Boy, if he makes that shot, the Huskies are really tough to defend if he can make that shot on the trail.
Nice overplay. Brockman with the pick. He'll glide to the glass. Oh, look at the two-hand reverse slam.
And Brockman getting out in the open court, showing that athleticism.
Huskies on an 8-0 run, and Texas Southern will need most definitely a timeout as the Huskies start to rally the doghouse a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's starting on the defensive end. John Brockman, people underestimate what a good athlete he is, but just a nice overplay, kind of lackadaisical pass by Texas Southern, and he takes it down and gives the crowd something to get on their feet about with this reverse slam.
We should tell you Texas Southern has been losing by an average of 13 points in their 7 previous games. They took a shellacking at the hands of the Bearcats of Cincinnati, losing by 31, lost by 17 to Marquette. They have been in some games, lost by 6 to UTEP. Arkansas handled them in their last loss back on December the 3rd, but Tony Ivey says it's all about A, the payday when you go on the road, and B, most importantly, I presume anyway, the exposure that you get in terms of recruiting and getting your program off the ground.
And along with that, he took this job in July, just very late. So a lot of the guys that they have on the roster are quite frankly guys that they just had to go ahead and take a chance on to fill in some roster spots because the program was pretty much in disarray. So he's got his work cut out for him, but he knows that.
Nice play to the weak side. They move it to the top and then spot a cutter off the wing and drop into the rack with a right-hander is Jock Jones. Hard finish, and he will go to the line.
And does a great job of getting a wide open look coming out of a timeout set up something to give your team an opportunity to get a bucket, and just nice execution by the Texas Southern players as well. And the big finish, chance for the three-point play by Jock Jones.
Here's Jones from Houston, Texas. At the heel of the iron. Well, Texas Southern hasn't been shooting free throws any better than the Huskies. They're about 56% as a team. Elston Turner is in the lineup now, the highly prized freshman out of Missouri City, Texas. Nice pass. Pondexter winds up and jams it.
Great backdoor cut. Great read by Pondexter and a great pass by Brockman to deliver the mail.
Huskies up 6. Boyles goes to work, bringing Brockman outside. Dribble handoff. This is Jack Jones with it. Brockman gets in, deflects it away. Grabbed by Brian Ammoning. Behind the back pass, rather than going to the rim, gave it away. Southern runs out, they have numbers. Nice redirection pass for the jam. That was Ricky Boyles tipping it to his big man, Michael Drury, running the lane right to the cup.
Well, Brian Ammoning tried to get a little too fancy. Should have just taken that ball to the basket and finished the play.
After seeing Brockman with that reverse two-hander, you think you get in the spirit of things.
Yeah, for real. Here's my chance.
Huskies shooting 50%. Thomas, triple team, knocked down in the act. He'll shoot 2.
Well,
the Huskies very aggressive on the defensive end, and that leads to some good offense. Quincy Pondexter off to another good start, as are the Huskies, leading by 4. We'll be right back. Washington leading Texas Southern 10-6, 14:50 to go in the first half. I mentioned the fact that Texas Southern has covered a lot of ground already this year and going 0-7. Take a look, Cincinnati to Cedar Falls to Milwaukee. Naturally, you'd have to go to Chicago. I'm guessing you go to Arkansas. You do, there you are. You go back home? No, you're going to go to Austin to play Texas. And then back up to the Northwest to play Idaho and Gonzaga, and then to Colorado Springs. So Mr. Harvey and company are going to get a lot of frequent flyer mileage.
They are indeed, and they're going to actually have their first home game against Portland State on the 27th of December, I believe it is. So they're going to play a lot of teams from this area of the country.
Isaiah Thomas at the line. He is the second leading scorer on this Husky team, averaging 14 a game. Also nearly 4 assists and 3 rebounds a contest. And Washington is now 4 for 4 from the line. Here's Miller to bring it out of backcourt. Big check by Thomas. Huskies extend their defense outside. Pondexter on ball at the elbow. 19 to shoot for the Tigers of Texas Southern. And this is DeAndre Hall with a nice leap and lean off the mark. Justin Holiday in the lineup now. Elston Turner is in as well. This is Holiday with it. Excellent entry pass to Brockman. Leads him to the cup to lay it in.
Nice job by Brockman to just get a good seal there. And again, the Huskies are doing a good job of focusing on making sure that they get the ball inside to the post.
Damian Henderson in the lineup, and a big collision and a foul called. Basket's going to count, and the foul's going to be on Thomas. That'll be the second on Isaiah.
Well, that's a bang-bang play as far as the block charge is concerned. But the Huskies would have to be happy with the fact that the defensive help was there, maybe just a second late. But a nice job to focus and finish the play by Damian Henderson and give himself a chance for the three-point play.
Transferred from Weatherford Junior College. He's out of Arcana, Texas. And he comes up with a three-point play. Now they extend the defense to the Tigers.
Yeah, and they'll do a lot of things differently defensively, and the Huskies have to handle the pressure because this is something that they're going to see as they get into Pac-10 play.
Benoit Overton conveys it in the corner to Turner. Good three-point shooter, not this time. Miller the other way.
Oh, nice look.
Great lead to Henderson, and he'll finish.
And that's a good job by Henderson, but even a better job by Matthew Miller to see him on the break and get the ball to him early.
And Lorenzo Romar wants a 20-second timeout.
Just a nice job by Miller to have his head up. There's a seam there for him to deliver the pass, and a good finish again. So Henderson, back-to-back buckets for him. I'm sure Coach Romar is probably a little unhappy with the shot by Turner. May have been a little early, and that led to the easy basket on the other end for Texas Southern, and also even the prior possession when Texas Southern went into that three-quarter court press, that ball got tipped and could have very easily have been a turnover.
Now those early shots in the offense, you sometimes have an imbalanced floor. So now it leads to runouts like they had there. And Bentman having to scoot back there, I think got caught ball watching, and the man got behind him on the wing and was available for the pass. So Romar trying to make sure everybody's on the same page here as Overton is in. You can see they go to the middle of the floor to Turner and then out on the wing to Dentman, and they break the press. They have 26 to shoot now. Brockman trying to make himself available. Drop step pivot, and the fouls. He got to the rim. He'll shoot two.
And again, the Huskies take the ball down into the low block to Brockman. And if they're not going to come and double team, or if they're not going to get to him quicker, there's no chance for any Texas Southern defender to be able to stop Brockman one-on-one. So now we get to the foul line where, again, looking for improvement from the foul line for the Huskies.
Brockman's had some very nice outings coming off the win against Oklahoma State, the 16-point, 11 rebound performance. Hit 22 and 11 in the 2-point loss to Florida. It's the second of the two here. Ricky Boyle's back in for Texas Southern, and in for the Huskies once again is Matthew Brian Ammoning. Ammoning, the sophomore from London, England. And we welcome you, football fans, to a basketball game here at Bank of America Arena in Seattle. University of Washington meeting Texas Southern. University of Washington 4-3, Texas Southern 0-7 on the year, along with Francis Williams and Kevin Calabro. Vanoy Overton into the lane, throwing out on the wing. Overton, Turner, Holiday, Dentman, and Brian Ammoning on the floor for the Huskies. Huskies saw Texas Southern draw first blood and then went on an 8-0 run to take an 8-2 lead. And this is Dentman firing over the zone. Good hustle play coming back was Holiday to deflect it out of bounds. You can see him shouting at his teammates, we have to get back.
Got to get back. Got to run the floor in both directions.
Congratulations to Bellevue. They win the 3A high school championship this evening. What a terrific game that was last night. Skyline and Issaquah. Hats off to both clubs and their accomplishments. Skyline the champion. Thrilling win last night.
It was a good win. I had an opportunity to watch that game, and it was a very good game. Very well played game by two teams that are 5 miles apart.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
17-13 count. Huskies leading Texas Southern from Houston, Texas, part of the Southwest Athletic Conference. Grambling, probably their most noteworthy member of their conference. This is Matthew Miller from three, dancing off the rim. And the rebound controlled by Elston Turner. Brian Ammoning, 29 to shoot. Justin Holiday, skip pass cross court to Elston, but he stepped out of bounds when he made the reception on the pass. And how many turnovers is that on the Huskies? That's just their second so far. Coming off a win Thursday against Oklahoma State when they surrendered it just 13 times, which made this man happy, Lorenzo Romar. He said we valued our possessions, and so we got more shots. When you do that, you got a better chance of winning.
Exactly. That stepping out of bounds, I think that's something on the college level we're seeing a little bit more because the three-point line has been moved back a little bit.
At the top of the arc, they moved it out a full foot to 20 feet 9 inches. Here's Overton with hands on Miller, and the foul on Overton is his first, and a timeout called on the floor. 15 foul on the Huskies with 11:54 left here in the first half. Washington 17, Texas Southern 13. Well, big news here on the campus. The release is just past our desk here, Francis, where we keep all our hot news. And this is hot news, big news. Husky football team introducing Steve Sarkisian as their new UW football coach, announcing today that he has been named as the 23rd head football coach in the sport's 119-year history here at the institution. He'll be introduced at a press conference on Monday, 9:30 a.m. at the Don James Center at Husky Stadium, and the public is invited to attend.
All right, that means I can go.
Means we can all go. So, congratulations to him and to the university. Of course, a 97 graduate of BYU. Most recently is the assistant head coach and offensive coordinator at the University of Southern California. And assistant head coach and quarterbacks coach, assistant head coach and quarterbacks coach as well at that university. So we wish him the best. Here at Bank of America Arena, Texas Southern down 4 to the Huskies. Texas Southern 0-7 for the year. They haven't played a home game yet. Huskies extend their defense. Big man Drewy with it, 19 to shoot. Miller got it, drives into the lane. Overton got a piece, deflects it free. Good hustle play as Dentman scoops it up off the floor and then rolls on the floor. He walked with it.
Well, the Huskies are doing a really good job of extending that pressure and really making it tough for Texas Southern to get into anything of any type of rhythm offensively, and just getting on the floor and picking up that loose ball. Unfortunately, there was a travel, but another turnover here for the Huskies.
Brian Amity with it. Man ahead is Overton to the cup. Lays it up, missed it. Good hustle play as Gant got there, but he missed it. Wriggles it free, managed to get up a shot, knocked down and fouled, and Darnell will go to the line. That's good hustle. Never, ever take for granted your teammate's going to make a lay-in.
Well, a nice job by Brian Amity. Second time he's been in the open court. Overton does a good job of running the lane, but again, there's a couple $1,000s worth of glass up there. You might as well go ahead and use it.
And so Gant to the line.
But as you said, a nice job by Gant to not take for granted that he was going to make the layup and follow the play, and gives him a chance to get to the line, although, again, he misses the first one.
Deontay Jones checks in for Texas Southern. And David Burrell is in as well. Burrell is a 6'3" senior, and Jones is a 6'8" freshman out of Las Vegas. Gant with the second free throw up and in. The Huskies, we're happy to report, are hitting free throws this evening. So now hit 6 of 7. Washington on top 5. Overton, good help on the end line, forcing the ball up top, 17 to shoot. Gant overplays. Denton keeps the ball in front of him. They come to double the post, 9 to shoot. Drewy doesn't panic, gets rid of it, 6 to shoot for Texas Southern. Drewy one dribble, got to get up a shot, did, scooped it off the bottom of the glass. No exchange of possession. That's a shot clock violation, and the Huskies take it back, and that's pretty good defense.
That's great defense, because it looked like the Texas Southern player had a wide open path to the basket, but good recovery by the Huskies to take that away and block the shot.
Overton and Dentman the guards. Thomas on the bench with 2 quick fouls. Brian Amity in deep, double teamed and fouled in the act. The Huskies have done an excellent job when getting it deep, just powering up and getting some.
And again, when you have those type of advantages, you have to go ahead and take advantage of them, because again, Texas Southern has no one on the low block that can match up with Brian Amity or with Brockman when he's in the game. Pondexter's gone down to the post a couple times and gotten a couple easy buckets. So again, take advantage of what the defense is giving you.
And it seems to be what's happening to Texas Southern this year. Francis, Tony Harvey says, you know, we've been in ball games, but it's just a matter of wearing down. They just don't have that depth. In fact, Lorenzo Romar told us before the ball game this may be the best bench he's had in the last 3 years.
He can go about 10 deep and not have much of a drop-off when he brings those guys off the bench. And Texas Southern, on the other hand, just doesn't have the personnel or the depth to be able to go that deep into their bench and still not have a drop-off. It would be a pretty extreme drop-off if he went that deep into his bench.
Brian Amity hits 2, and the Huskies are 8 of 10 from the line. Crossover dribble in the clutter. David Burrell kicks it outside to Drewy, 14 to shoot. This is DeAndre Hall. He is their leading scorer, and Pondexter has drawn the assignment on him. Hall getting nearly 17 a game. Nice hard dribble pull-up. Nope, Brockman the rebound. Brockman and Thomas both in for the Huskies with Dentman, Brian Amity, and Pondexter.
Texas Southern stays into the zone, and we'll see if the Huskies go back to their bread and butter of getting that ball into the post.
We'll try to go high post. Good anticipation by David Burrell. He flicks it out of bounds, but the Huskies will get it with 18 to shoot.
Yeah, that's a tough angle to try to make that pass from the deep corner over there to that high post area. If anything, he maybe could have taken a dribble up the lane and improved his angle to make that pass.
18 to shoot on the inbounds. They take it outside, and quickly Brockman finds Pondexter in deep, and again, the Huskies go to the line. Pondexter steps up for what will be the Huskies' 11th and 12th opportunities here the first half, and we are just midway through at 9:46. That's a good sign for Washington.
It is. Anytime the ball's being taken out of bounds, you can't forget about the guy that took the ball out. And now that's what Texas Southern was guilty of in that possession.
Pondexter's had a couple of nice games leading up to this. 16 and 12 rebounds against Pacific, a game we did, and he was all over the court. Huskies now 9 of 11 as a team from the line. And then Q backed it up with a 12-point, 4-rebound, 3-steal performance against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. 22-19 count, and the Huskies pull out to their largest lead, up 9. Matthew Miller working the edge. Oh, Brian Amity thought he had a pick. Dentman did have a pick, and he's got numbers. Look at Brockman just seal, lock, get the entry, and power it up and in. Man, when he seals you, it's over.
Yeah, that's what grown men do to kids. I mean, when he gets down there and sits down on the post, he has good hands. He has great position, which was the main thing. He did his work early and got good position. And there's just no stopping him when he's in that deep.
Foul on D. Jones is his second. And Big John to the line. He comes in averaging 17 a game and 11.4 rebounds per contest as well. That free throw off the mark. Southern up the floor quickly. And a quick bucket as DeAndre Hall maneuvers into the paint.
That was a nice job by Texas Southern to have that sideline break off that free throw situation.
This is Thomas, and he guns down the 3.
Nice job by Isaiah to be able to catch and shoot from about 21 feet.
He's shooting about 29% coming in from three-point range. Ball batted outside of the miss. And Texas Southern will get a reset of the shot clock.
And this is a good chance for Thomas to kind of progress his game somewhat. He's in the game with those 2 fouls, and it'll be important for him to not pick up the 3rd.
And particularly working against a bigger physical guard. Miller is 6'3", 200 pounds, and these are the kind of guards you're going to run into in the Pac-10.
Absolutely.
Dentman, open 3, had all day to think about it. Miller with a rebound. Miller just looks tough, too, because he's got a bandage over the left eyebrow.
Bandage over the eye, got a knee wrapped up.
He's a warrior. Miller from Arlington, Texas. Nice entry pass to Hall. Juggled it in the paint. Jabbed away, controlled by Brian Amity. Nice look. Dentman running the wing, wide open for the lay-in.
And that's a real nice job by the Huskies to have good spacing in that break. And Isaiah made a nice pass to Justin Dentman for that easy layup.
14-2. Husky run over the last 4 minutes and change.
Another overplay at high post.
Now, he's not going to pass this time, is he?
There you go, big fella. Finish that thing. Don't hurt yourself, though.
Matthew Brian Amity. Good young player, 6'9" sophomore. 3 straight turnovers for Texas Southern as the Huskies have turned up the heat here at the Bank of America Arena. They take a 31-15, 16-point lead to the timeout. No wraparound this time, big fella. Just bring the love. There it is. College basketball on FSN is brought to you by Quest. Get in the loop and join the community that's changing the way people connect. Welcome, everybody, to the Bank of America Arena here in Seattle, Washington, on the campus of the University of Washington. Lorenzo Romar teaching in conversation with Isaiah Thomas, always teaching the young fella, even though your ball club's up 16, 31-15, along with Francis Williams, Kevin Calabro on board. And Francis, the Huskies defensively have just turned the intensity way up.
Yeah, they really have, and it's just kind of a carryover from what they know is going to be needed of them to be able to compete at this level. They think they learned their lesson in that game against Kansas. We saw a little bit of it in the Florida loss, and the last 2 games for the Huskies have been pretty solid performances on both ends of the floor.
Kansas just whacked them in Kansas City, beat them by 19, but they bounced back and lost to Florida just by 2. That was anybody's game. Matthew Brian Ammoning with a rebound, along with Brockman up front. And Justin Holiday, this man. Isaiah Thomas and Elston Turner, who's in the corner. Good 3-point shooter, but they go in deep. Brian Ammoning again, very unselfish, even though it looked like he had a look there from 5 feet.
He did have a look, and it's good to be unselfish, but you're not going to get a much better shot than that.
Southern will pop and they hit, and that breaks a drought. They have turned the ball over in 4 of the last 6 possessions.
Well, Coach Harvey assured us that if they went down, they'd go down fighting. So they're still hanging in there and trying to compete.
Brockman with a drop step and the hold. And the foul called on Michael Drury.
Yeah, putting your hands on a player, particularly when they have the ball, is a real point of emphasis, obviously, this year on the college level. Because anytime a player has the ball and you even just get a fingernail on him, it's foul. You're calling it right away.
Now, if you're Tony Harvey, what are you telling Drury about defending Brockman when he gets that ball on that left block? First thing you want to do is take baseline away, right? Force him middle to help,
force him to the help, but I would back off of him and give him some space. Make him shoot over me, not give him a chance to use his footwork to pirouette around or pivot around and get an easy layup. Back up and make him do something to score the ball.
Don't let him feel you.
Exactly.
Because he'll know where to go. 31-18 count. Huskies all over Texas Southern. And a nice hard attempt in there by Miller.
You talked earlier about how strong he is. He had to have a lot of strength to get that ball up amongst the trees.
Thomas jump pass right side. Holiday had it slapped out of bounds. And they say last touch by Washington.
This is where Washington has to be careful. They went on that 16-2 run. They had a 16-point lead. Maybe get a little bit complacent. Now the Tigers come down and put together a couple back-to-back buckets. And now if they get a bucket here, they can have it down to single digits.
It's their leading scorer, DeAndre Hall. Hands off to Miller. Dribble weave. And reaching in for the foul is Gant. And the big man had switched out on the little fella, Hamid Ford. 16 foul on the Huskies. And there should be no free throws awarded here. I'm not sure Ford was going to try to get the bonus, but he won't get it. 5:35 left here, first half. Huskies on top by 11, 31-20. Michael Drury, the big man, will get it in bounds. DeAndre Hall from Pontiac, Michigan. Thomas does a nice job to stop the ball, but out of the corner, knocking down another one is Solly Norwood.
That's 2 back-to-back buckets from the outside for Norwood. Good-looking outside shooter.
7-0 run. Here's Holiday. Turner. Southern really packing it in the zone now. Thomas will fire over the zone of 3. Can't open. Nice block by Hall. He rejects it, but it came free to Brockman. He'll lay it up. No. Follows it up and in.
Brockman padding his stats. Missed that layup. Go get the offensive rebound and put it back in.
Little Moses Malone. 9 points, 6 rebounds for Brockman. 11-point lead for Washington. Tigers shooting 53%. Huskies 48%. And Texas Southern coming into this game shooting 44% from the field and 30% from 3. Foul on Brockman. The 17th foul, and Ford will head to the line.
Solly Norwood, who we've seen knock down a couple outside shots for Texas Southern, was actually a starter last year. Has been struggling with a little bit of an ankle, but he was their leading scorer last year and was the 4th leading scorer in the SWAC.
Gant with it at the elbow. Pondexter back to Gant. And with a nice touch, he'll roll it in.
The Huskies' interior passing today has been pretty solid. They've turned down some good looks, but right there, that was a nice job by them to just Get a good look on the interior.
Gant's first bucket. 13-point Husky lead. 4 minutes left first half. Ford to Miller in the corner. Pondexter taking away the right hand, so he'll adjust to his left and knocks down the three. So Texas Southern starting to find it from Rain.
Well, they held in there. They withstood that 16-2 run that the Huskies went on, and now they've been able to make some shots. But I also think some of that has to do with, you can see that the Huskies' defensive intensity has gone down just a bit once they had that 16-point lead.
Pondexter needs help, finds Gant. He looks inside. They collapse on Brockman. Pondexter, nice find off the dribble drive, but he stepped out of bounds when he made the catch. And a turnover charge to the Huskies. New milestone for John Brockman when we come back. Huskies lead by 10 with a timeout on the floor. Huskies up 10 with 3:26 to go in the first half, along with Francis Williams, Kevin Calabro on board. Here at the University of Washington, John Brockman, among our Les Schwab League leaders, a monster on the glass. He has moved Francis up to number 4 on the all-time career rebounding list here at the University of Washington. Just moved past Todd McCullough into 4th place.
Well, as a high schooler and even here as he's moved into the Division I ranks, he's always been a monster rebounder. And he's 4th in the nation in rebounding right now and number 1 in the Pac-10. So another good accomplishment for John. He'll probably may very well be at the top of that list before he leaves here, but he's always been great on the glass. 7 rebounds today. He just continues to play hard as always.
Doug Smart, 1,051 is number 1. He played in 57 of 59. Only a freshman, obviously, weren't eligible to play. Brockman with another rebound. Doug McClary played 51 to 53, has 997, and Christian Velp 995. 1, 2, 3. In case you were wondering. 2:59 left first half. Pondexter one dribbling up in the paint. Nice touch straight away.
And that was a nice job by Brockman there to set a screen on the interior of that zone to allow Quincy to get that 8-footer.
12-point Husky lead. 2:46 to go first half, and Overton searches Hakeem Ford. Give it outside. This is Miller with it. .16 to shoot, and Texas Southern wisely will call a timeout because Solly Norwood had nowhere to go. They had locked him up. Washington, when they have turned the intensity up, have really strangled Texas Southern.
Well, we know the guards can apply pressure, but the big guys wanted to get into the act today too. You see Brockman up at the high post, overplay, goes down to the other end and gets the dunk. Brian Ammoning, that was the second time he had made a steal up top. He goes in and gets a dunk. So the defensive pressure that the Huskies have exhibited today is key to their success. It allows them to get out and get some easy buckets and not always have to try to get it out of the half court. 7
steals for the Huskies. And they were very active defensively against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State on Thursday. Washington forced 15 turnovers in that ball game. They had 8 steals and 2 blocks in the contest as well. And they held Oklahoma State to 42% shooting. So those are pretty good numbers. I guess the team the year before that had just creamed them in Stillwater.
Yeah, it was a bloodbath in Stillwater. That's a tough place to play, though. Never been to Stillwater. It's a great atmosphere.
Oh, Matthew Miller way beyond the NBA three-point line. Knocks it down with 2 on the shot clock.
Turn me loose, coach. Turn me loose.
They did that time. 37-28 count. 2 minutes left in the half. Bettman finds Pondexter in the paint. Heartbreaker. Miller breaks out. Huskies get back and fill the lanes. Ford will drive in, and reaching in was Overton. And 1-1 for Texas Southern's diminutive guard, Hamid Ford. That's the second on Overton.
Well, Miller just sized Pondexter up. He backed up and he said, I'm going to let it fly, and he knocked it down.
Ford out of Los Angeles, California, off the back iron, and Brockman comes down with another rip. Brockman now 11 points, 9 boards, Francis.
Yeah, well, just doing the work that he always does. And Texas Southern, if they knock down a few free throws, would actually be a little bit closer in this contest.
Brockman doubled. Skip pass Overton. And the charge as Solly Norwood was there with position, anticipating the spin. That's the third foul on Vinoy Overton.
And it's good defense by Norwood, taking away the baseline, moving his feet, establishing the position. As with most block charges, this could go either way, but a nice job of him taking that away. And again, with 1:15 to go, they're only down by 9 with possession of the ball.
Ford, the one dribble pull up, and a rebound recovered by Quincy Pondexter. Brockman, he had a little one on him too.
He did.
And he gives it away. And that's what Francis has been alluding to, although it turned out all right with Overton knocking down the three. The fact that the big man of Washington, when you make a pivot, you've got to look first at the rim and then make that pass.
Look at the rim, absolutely. But he just automatically had decided, I'm going to make this skip pass. But it was a good look, and it ended up with a 3-point bucket.
12-point lead for the Huskies. 33 seconds left in the first half. Miller trying to shake Overton, closely guarded 5, and that'll give it back to the Huskies. There's good defense.
And a nice job by the Huskies. I know they probably were trying to get him out of there, but Overton was able to survive that possession with his third foul. They definitely don't want him to get the fourth foul here in the first half.
So Texas Southern got caught standing and dancing with the dribble. Washington will take it back as a result. That's their first turnover since the 8:40 mark. So Southern's done a nice job to settle down out there and play.
Well, they have some senior leadership. They started 3 seniors, and we told you earlier they weren't going to go away without a fight.
Huskies up 12 with possession, and Isaiah Thomas will work it with 8. Above the arc with 6. Hesitation dribble with 5. Spins into the lane with 3. Got off the shot. Rebound. Brockman beats the buzzer to lay it up and in.
Well, right on cue, he goes up the rebounding list ladder and finishes the half with an offensive rebound and a 2-point bucket to give the Huskies a 14-point lead.
48th career double-double for John Brockman, who leaves the court halfway through with 13 points, 10 boards, and the Huskies leading by 14 here in Seattle. College basketball on FSN is brought to you tonight by Joe's Sports and Outdoor and by Quest. Get in the loop and join the community that's changing the way people connect. Great time of year, downtown Seattle. Beautiful neon lights. Cheerleaders are in fine form. Huskies are up 14. What more could you ask from in life, Francis?
One more.
Huh?
I don't think it's raining outside.
It's great to be here in Seattle tonight. Take a look at the numbers tonight. 42% shooting for Texas Southern. That can't tickle anybody there on the Husky staff, but by contrast, they're shooting the lights out at 52%. And they're getting to the line, 10 of 14 for the Huskies. And obviously out-rebounding Texas Southern big time, 21 to 9. Turnovers, 11 forced, 7 given up, 15 points off turnovers for the Huskies.
Yeah, well, they've got to be happy with the free throw shooting. 10 for 14 is a vast improvement over what they've been doing here to this point in the season. And again, the defensive intensity that they've exhibited, getting out in the passing lanes, really making it tough for Texas Southern to get into any type of an offensive flow, has resulted in the turnovers that they've created and 15 additional points.
Leading scorers, John Brockman has 13 to go with his 11 rebounds, his 48th double-double of his career. Quincy Pondexter, nice solid game, 8 points and a couple of boards. Denman a half dozen, Thomas 5. Matthew Miller 8. Solly Norwood with 5. Damian Henderson 5. And DeAndre Hall, who actually came in as their leading scorer for this institution out of Houston, Texas at 17 a game. Hall's been bottled up. He's 2 for 6 shooting thus far. The Tigers, Matthew Miller struck for a couple of threes. He had 2 of 3 out there. The Huskies, Isaiah Thomas added a 3. Overton hit a 3 as well. Now Thomas has been hampered with early foul trouble. He picked up 2 quick ones, and so he was limited to just 12 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, he picked up 2 quick ones, and then Overton came in, and he actually picked up a third, which they'll have to be careful here in the second half to stay out of foul trouble. But they've got some interchangeable parts back there with Dentman, Thomas, Overton. They can bring Elston Turner in and play in the backcourt along with Holiday. So they'll have really a 5-man rotation at that guard spot.
Washington, this is an interesting stat. Washington forced 10 turnovers in the first 11 minutes, 20 seconds for 13 points off turnovers, and then didn't force another one until 32 seconds left in the first half. So when they have turned up the intensity, they have taken a big bite out of the Tigers. Dentman in deep in that zone to Gant and draws the foul on Hall. And Darnell will shoot 2.
And they pick up where they left off in the first half of just making sure that they get the ball inside and take advantage of what they have down low. Good ball movement. Dentman swings it to Pondexter, who's able to get into the lane with a little dribble penetration. Just go hard to the basket by Gant, draw the foul, and maybe they can continue to shoot well from the line.
Darnell is a freshman, 215 out of Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles, and comes in shooting 71% from the line. And this is an 8th game of the year. He has started in all 8 as well, averaging 4 points and nearly 6 rebounds per contest.
He really took advantage of his redshirt season as he's a redshirt freshman. Seemingly really sat there and kind of learned this Husky system, saw where his game would fit into what this group needs. And he's the guy, as Coach Romar has told us, that is just willing to sacrifice any of the personal stuff for the sake of the team. He rebounds, he screens, he does everything that's needed down there in that front court to just help John Brockman and Quincy Pondexter be successful.
Yeah, they're just trying to square away on who the foul will be called on. Quite clearly, it's number 1, DeAndre Hall, who goes up, makes the body contact there. He is in the act of shooting, so I don't think there's any question about who fouled him or if he was in the act. And so our officials sorted out, and we are back to play. And they wanted to square the clock as well with the play-by-play. Little housekeeping done, and Gant at the line for 2, and so he'll get that one that he missed back, knocks this one down.
And you see this adjustment here that the Huskies are making in the first half off of that made free throw, pass, bucket for Texas Southern. They had 2 guys back and were ready for it this time.
Well, again, it convinced me. I thought he was going to get another one, but he missed the first, hit the second.
Right.
And Texas Southern will bring it down. Good overplay, ball flicked out of bounds, and Southern will get it. Just a half minute gone by here in the second half. And immediately a foul on the inbounds. And it's on Gant. That's his second. Matthew Miller, senior guard, nice find to Dewey beneath the rim for the slam.
And that's something that I expect the Huskies to see a lot of this season. They took Isaiah Thomas, who had the defensive assignment on Miller. They took him right down to the low block and made him try to play some low post defense, which led to that easy bucket because they had to come over and help him.
Thomas is upended by Miller. And the foul on Miller is his second. Foul charge number 3, Matthew Miller, his second personal, second team foul. Thomas to Pondexter. Gant high post. Oh, he's going to take that 15-footer. You bet. Nothing but net for Gant.
Well, in the first half, they had a few players turn that shot down. And that's going to be a shot that's going to be available against the zone.
DeAndre Hall charges. Dentman got in front of him, had his feet set. And the Huskies will take it back as a result, leading here by 15. And Tony Harvey wants a timeout. He'll call a full timeout for Texas Southern. And we'll step aside with the Huskies up 15 here as we have just gotten underway in the second half from Seattle. Huskies leading Texas Southern 45-30, just underway here in the second half. And Francis, it seems like Tony Harvey of Texas Southern trying to find a way to manufacture some offense, may be onto something.
Yeah, he may be. Well, I think something the Huskies going to see more as the season gets a little bit deeper. You see that Miller takes Isaiah Thomas right down to the low block, and he's so diminutive that it's going to be tough for him down there, and he does a good job of splitting that help when John Brockman comes over for the help to dish it off to a teammate. But Isaiah Thomas is so diminutive, I'm sure that as we get deeper in the season, if they continue to play the man-to-man defense, more and more people will try to post him up and make the Huskies make that adjustment defensively.
Tigers are going to try to trap at half court, and Thomas, surveying the scene, fires over to Dentman, who wasn't ready to receive the pass. Out of bounds, Husky turnover.
And that's just a matter of not having eye contact with the person that you're throwing the basketball to. And against that pressure, you never want to leave the guy back there by himself. So Dentman is partly responsible for that as well.
8 turnovers. Huskies up 15. This is Drewy handling. Matthew Miller, the point guard, will come to take over. 15 to shoot. Hall open for an instant. Sidesteps Brockman on the switch. Missed the baseliner. Drewy the rebound, but grabbed out of there by Dentman. Give him a pick. Here he comes.
He just wanted it more.
Thomas ahead of the pack.
Good look up by Dentman. Get the ball up the floor early. That's a nice job by Dentman.
Huskies up 17. Drewy may have taken steps. Whistle off the ball as Thomas defends Miller down there on the block again, and he was trying to push him off the block. Foul call on Thomas will be his third.
When the Huskies get a chance to get out in the open court, they've got the speed and quickness to get the ball to the basket in a hurry, but a nice job by Dentman to pass the ball ahead, and Thomas has an advantage already because he's left-handed and he can finish on the left-hand side.
And Southern on the inbounds, foul called, and they give it back. Foul is on Drewy. That's his second. Huskies up 17 to this Texas Southern team that is 0-7 on the year. Cincinnati beat them by 31. They've lost by an average of 13 points in the 7 losses. All of them on the road. Backdoor lob. Ooh, Quincy Pondexter, a self-check on the rim. But man, did he get up to get that. He reached way back just to get it, to make the catch.
Yeah, he did. Well, he's a very good athlete. Pass maybe just a little bit behind him, but man, it makes the highlight reel. Actually grabbed the rim, which is illegal, but the referees missed that one.
So it wouldn't have counted had it gone, but a tremendous catch on that pass. That gives you a real idea of just kind of the elevation he has. 17-point Husky lead. In some regards, these are tougher games for guys to get up for. Oklahoma State, you know they're going to get up for that. Brockman, hustle play, knocks it down. Man, he ran over there and did a face plant and then had a guy, Jock Jones, fall on him just to keep it alive right here. Bang.
Yeah, well, that's good hustle by both teams getting on the floor, which all coaches love. John gets his face smashed into the floor, but he's a tough guy. He'll get up and bounce right up.
That's what I call buffing the mahogany right there. 17-point lead for the Huskies. 3 minutes gone by in the second half. Gant trying to double up on Miller. He was hedging out there, but too much contact.
No hands allowed. Anytime the ball is in the offensive guy's hands, if you put your hands on him, that is going to be a foul.
Running in bounds, Miller to the baseline, running right-hander up and in, but he charged. No bucket. And it was Darnell Gant who had set up shop in there.
And on that drive, I'm sure Coach Romar be pleased. I mean, you could see the Huskies just converge on him as he goes to drive the baseline. I mean, look at the help that is there. Now, it doesn't leave him in much position for a rebound, but the defense is so good as everybody recognizes where the basketball is on the floor and they come to help.
Miller's third foul. Brockman looking for the ball, but fronted on the post. Dentman ridden down to the baseline, tried to bring it back up into the lane, jabbed away. Thomas stays with the play, keeping it alive, but it was over and back.
And I think that's a good call because he was the first person to touch it, and I don't think anyone from Texas Southern touched it before it crossed the line.
9 turnovers on Washington. Tony Harvey, in addition to being a terrific recruiter under Quinn Snyder at Missouri for 5 years, also owns his own clothing line. And when we get another shot of him on the bench, You can see he can dress, huh?
Oh, yeah, he's always been a sharp dresser.
And coaching.
Oh yeah. Well, I've had the pleasure of knowing Tony for a very long time. He actually recruited one of my players when I was at Rainier Beach. He recruited a young man named Roselle Ellis when he was at McNeese State. So I've known Tony for a while, and when he was on the staff with Quinn Snyder, there were two guys there that I knew, and it was unfortunate the way things ended there. But they're both good guys, and they both bounced back.
Thomas hits the three. Quinn was coaching the Austin Toros of the NBDL last year, which is run by the San Antonio Spurs, just up the road in Austin. Thomas with that three gives the Huskies an 18-point lead, and a player control foul whistled on Texas Southern. And so now out of frustration, they're trying to do too much, and they're turning it over.
Yeah, they are, and this is at that point where they're about to lose contact, and they know that, and they get a little desperate. And the Huskies should take full advantage of it.
Thomas another three. Long defender on him, he missed it. Miller will break out, got a 3-on-1, and Hall just lost the handle out of bounds. Another turnover on the Tigers. 15:48 left in the second half. And it's been all Huskies as they lead by 18. And Thomas with a capper right there. Huskies on top of Texas Southern, leading by 18. The Tigers have to be excused if they're maybe a little road weary. Consider they're 0-7, and they've played all of them on the road. They play their first 12 games on the road, in fact, or a neutral site. Their first home game is until December 27th against Portland State. They're coming off a loss at Arkansas and Fayetteville. They've been to Texas, El Paso, Cincinnati, Milwaukee to take on Marquette, Northern Iowa, Mercer, Bethune-Cookman. Gant scores. And they'll return home to Texas, but not to play at home, but to play Texas Longhorns in the 16th. And then Gonzaga on the 18th in Spokane, followed by Idaho, and then to Colorado Springs to meet the Air Force Academy, Francis.
Yep, well, even though they're 0-7, the upside to that is that, number one, these kids are getting a chance to see the country.
There's something to be said for that.
They get to experience seeing a lot of different parts of the country.
That's right.
They're playing against top-level competition, but it just gives Tony Harvey, who wants to be a national recruiter, and he's already known as being one of the best recruiters in the country, he's able to expose his program around the country. That should help him get in the door with some recruits. And then lastly, economically, he's getting some nice paydays that are going to allow him to pump some revenue into his program that will only uplift the program as well.
Sounds like he's got some interesting plans. So the first thing I want to do, and he pointed toward the scoreboard here at Bank of America, is get one of those, he said. Because that obviously is going to generate revenue with all the signage.
Exactly. And they have, Texas Southern, which is in Houston, they have a nice facility there on campus. And, with a few tweaks here and there, they could make it a first-rate facility.
Nice move to get to the cup using the offhand. Ricky Boyles fouled, but before the shot. And bring it in bounce from the side. Will they give him shots here? That's the 15th foul on the Huskies. Didn't look like he was in the act. He wasn't. So Southern to bring it in bounds. Washington up by 20. Washington shooting 54% from the field. This is Hall. They really bottled him up. He was a 2 for 6 in the first half. He's their leading scorer. Deflection. Elston Turner got a hand on it and tracks it to the sideline. Last touch by Turner. Southern basketball.
Well, the defensive pressures there. We talked about how they have interchangeable parts in the backcourt. Turner comes in. We hadn't seen Vinoy Overton until now, who's now coming back into the game with 3 fouls. But there's not a whole lot of drop-off when they go into the bench there in the backcourt. And Turner did a nice job of really getting out and disrupting things defensively for the Huskies. Overton
is on now with Brockman, Pondexter, Elston Turner, and Matthew Bryan Amonick. That's in a drop-step spin, but unable to convert inside was Jacques Jones, and here come the Huskies. Huskies in the midst of 8 straight here at home, coming back from the tournament in Kansas City, defeated Pacific, beat Oklahoma State Thursday. Here's Brockman straight away, knocked it down. That's his first bucket of the second half.
We've seen him knock down 2 15-footers in this game, and if he expands his game to that point, that just makes him really tough to guard.
15 and 10 for Brockman. Miller comes right back, and man, he hurt it. Legs hurting, holding the left leg. Cut up over the eyebrow. Southern drops back in the zone. Pondexter, 22 to shoot. Q up top to Brockman. Turner, nice find. Even better pass from Pondexter to Brian Ammoning, sliding along the end line for the two-hand finish.
Yeah, and Coach Romar has to be ecstatic about that. There was a couple guys there that turned down shots because they thought teammates had a better shot.
Miller, the running right-hander, hanging on the rim, and it rolls in.
And I think he's decided that I'm going to just go ahead and take it over from this vantage point because we can't do much worse. He's a tough kid, though.
He got a dozen. Overton crosses him over and then flicks a pass to Pondexter, intended in the corner, but he threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, and Overton has to be a lot more careful with the basketball. He had 4 turnovers in the game against Oklahoma State, and you can't be turning the basketball over from the point guard position.
Huskies shooting 57% for the ball game. From the free throw line, 11 of 16. Jason, how many turnovers they have so far in the game? That's their 11th of the game on that last one. And those are 2 indicators, if you follow Husky basketball, that you pay close attention to. And you look at the box scores, I would think how they shoot the free throws. Obviously, they win or lose. Free throws, turnovers. How'd they do? 13 turns, 71% against Oklahoma State. Those are good. You can live with those numbers.
Those are solid numbers. Those are solid numbers. Because the one thing that they do that gives them a great advantage is that they eat glass, especially on the offensive end, and that gives them additional opportunities.
32 to shoot for Southern. Nice square up. Good technique, but off the back of the rim. Here come the Huskies. Holiday's back in.
Oh, good ball fake.
Had us looking. Holiday again with a nice inside pass. Husky big men are good inside passers in limited space. That's impressive. That'll serve them well come Pac-10 time, huh?
Yeah, on the interior, they've been real good today. Actually, have overpassed it a couple times.
Brian Ammoning. Yeah, he was wide open. Ricky Boyle's trying to front him, but Brian Ammoning with the bucket. Now Broyles the other way. Boyles the rebound. Threw it up wildly. Brockman hauls down the rebound. Releasing his Holiday. Trying to find Turner, but threw it right to Lorenzo. And a turnover to the Huskies, giving it back to Texas Southern. But it's all Washington right now, up 22 with 11:30 to go. They used to call that the okie doke. Washington on top of Texas Southern, 60-38, 11:20 to go in the second half. Let's take a look at our Jack in the Box outside the box. All right, don't panic. Get it inside. Matthew Brian Ammoning with the fake and the bucket. That's the way to sell it, huh? Outside the box.
Nice ball fake there, and he definitely sold it. He had a solid contribution today.
Matthew Brian Ammoning with 10, Thomas with 10, and 15 to Brockman. Those are the leading scorers. Brockman with 15 and 11. And John's over on the bench right now. Justin Holiday is in. So Brian Ammoning and Darnell Gant up front. Turner and Thomas the guards. Solly Norwood. And running out of bounds with it and out of real estate is Jock Jones. So Texas Southern turns it over again. That's their 18th of the game.
Yes. Huskies really had them bottled up. They just made 4 passes within 15 feet of each other in the same spot over there on that side of the court. They just cannot get into any type of offensive flow.
Now look at the Huskies by contrast as they spread the floor, allowing Turner a wide open 3. Brian Ammoning keeps it alive, but Solly Norwood pulls it down. David Burrell. Solly Norwood, 20 to shoot. Norwood doubled. needs help. Finds Burrell. The lefty will wind up and hits.
Nice job by Norwood to split that double team out front and be able to get the ball in position where they could get a good look at the basket.
Again, the Huskies inside. Draw the defense down and then move it outside. Nice play by Burrell to get a piece. He's got the pick, but he can't get by Thomas. Got it back.
Grabbed it.
And the foul out on the floor with 9:58 to go in the first half. 16 foul on the Tigers. Pondexter is going to come back into this one. Texas Southern as a team has 14 boards. Brockman as an entity has 11 rebounds. Huskies a 16-2 run in the first half, and they took a 14-point lead by halftime. So the Huskies were taking the mystery out of this thing. When you play an 0-17, sometimes those are the most difficult games to play against a team that comes in and just gotten beat up, been on the road a long time. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, well, it was something the Huskies needed to guard against, and so far they've done a pretty good job. They went on that 16-2 run. The intensity went down a little bit. Texas Southern was able to cut it to 10, but for the most part, they have played to the level that they should and pretty much dominated this game.
Justin Holiday, his brother Drew Holiday playing for UCLA. Boy, is he off to a great start. Brian Amity jump stop, powers to the rim, and lays it up and in. And the two brothers don't play in any way, shape, or form alike. They are two different players. Totally. Which is really amazing. Drew is 6'3", and Justin is just long as a summer's day. He is 6'6". He's a sophomore, and baby brother's a freshman at UCLA.
Well, a lot of people think baby brother's one and done.
Yeah.
He's a very accomplished player. I mean, he's so good because he can use both hands equally as well and has a great feel. And it'll be fun to watch him play in the Pac-10 this year.
Breaking the press, Huskies up the floor. Pondexter tried to force it in, jabbed away. Miller with it, and trying to get it back was Holiday from behind for the bump.
And that was another one of the times where maybe Quincy was a little guilty of overpassing the basketball. You're not going to get a much better look than where he was on the floor. So you got people in rebounding position. Go ahead and take the shot.
Holiday departs, and in will come Dentman, and to the line is Matthew Miller. Miller, the senior from Arlington, Texas. 1-1, missed this one in the rebound, grabbed by Texas Southern. Drewy goes up and a jump ball called, and possession arrow will give it back to Washington. After the Huskies and Tigers wrap things up here, we're going to send you out to Pullman, Washington, as number 24 Baylor is in the Palouse to take on the Cougars. The Pac-10 Hoops doubleheader continues next on FSN. Cougars play stingy defense. Oh, at the cup, Brian Amity. He has been active, and that's a career-high 14 points. Francis, he's hit 6 of 6.
He's had a great day on both ends of the court.
Oh, he's going to finish. Oh, yeah. So Brian Amity continues to throw up the numbers. 7 for 7, 16 points for Matthew Brian Amity.
He's feeding him. Another turnover.
Washington will get it back, leading here 66-40, 8:17 to go in the second half. So Lorenzo Romar will get a chance to tune up his bench, which he called before the ball game the best he's had in 3 years. They are a deep team, and they're going to get a lot of run with 8:17 left to play here, and leading by 26, 66-40. Well, in doing the homework on Matthew Brian Amity, we know that he's from London, England, went to South Kent School out in Connecticut, the same place that prep school that Isaiah Thomas attended. But Brian Amity, in playing for Great Britain's U20 team, scored 41 points against Czechoslovakia last summer in the European games.
Yeah, he said it was a great experience for him this summer to be a part of that under-20 team in Great Britain, and really thought that it helped him to expand his game and really get him ready for getting into the play here coming back for his sophomore season. And I think we're seeing it. I mean, he's been pretty solid. He had an injury early where he missed a couple games. First game back, unfortunately for him, was against Kansas.
Yeah.
So he kind of got baptism by fire, but he's been improving every game.
Pondexter, nice crossover. Finds Matthew Brian Ammoning for the bucket. And all he has done tonight is hit a perfect 8 for 8. And he has scored the last 17, make it last 14 points for Washington. And here's a charge. And he takes the charge and gives it back to Washington.
He's
This
doing it
kid's all over the floor. Timeout on the floor. Huskies up 68-40. And we'll be right back. Welcome back. Washington on top by 28, leading Texas Southern out of Houston, Texas. 7:58 to go in the second half. And Matthew Brian Ammoning has got, right now, he's got the lease on this place, man. He has hit 8 for 8 from the field, and he's done it from every spot in that paint.
Well, he's actually outscored Texas Southern by himself 14-12 here in the last 5:26 of this game. But he's had an outstanding half. And Quincy Pondexter, who we've talked about, also has 8 assists. And Brian Manning has been the benefactor of a lot of those passes that Quincy has delivered.
Oh, he's going to give it back to Quincy this time, and Q will score on a nice pass from Matthew Brian Ammoning as he drew the double team.
The interior passing by the Huskies has been good all day long.
And Brockman rests on the bench. 30-point Husky lead. 7:29 to go. Washington definitely has played the right way here this evening. The defensive intensity has been very good. They've been consistent for the most part. That's good defense, but better offense as Jock Jones makes a nice trip along the inline and reverse it in. Thomas back in. Finds Pondexter. He goes right to the cup, banks and scores. The bucket's going to count. He's going to go to the line.
And a nice job by Quincy to be able to absorb that blow and have the strength left to get that ball up off the glass to finish the play. Thomas with a little dribble penetration. Good help defense actually by Texas Southern, but the ball is bouncing the Huskies' way today. The basket drops for Coupon.
Matthew Brian Ammoning will leave. And he comes off rolling a perfect game, man. He's 18 points on 8 for 8. From the field with 5 rebounds. Quincy Pondexter will get a curtain call as well. Pondexter with the 13 points, 8 assists, 5 of 10 shooting from the field. Joe Wolfinger is in, as well as Scott Suggs. So Suggs is going to get some run here with 6:50 to go. Wolfinger, the junior from Portland, Oregon, the 7-footer. Timeout called by the Huskies. Lorenzo wants to gather these fellows around here. Let's talk now about executing the offense. Probably looking at the 2 newcomers here, in particular Scott Suggs, the freshman out of Washington, Missouri, the 6'6 freshman, who is Mr. Basketball of the state of Missouri.
Well, this is a good opportunity for Coach Romar to continue to teach. He's got some young guys that can get in the game, get them a little playing time. Wolfinger, who I really think they're going to need when they get into Pac-10 play, he's more of a pick and pop guy, but at the same time, he gives them some size. He can take up some space in the interior, so he needs to come in and take advantage of his 6 minutes and 50 seconds of playing time.
Well, Francis, earlier today here at Heckhead, did you know they were playing volleyball?
I did.
Yeah.
Parking was a mess.
Coach Jim McLaughlin and the UW volleyball team played Santa Clara in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Huskies dominated, winning 3 games to none. And the Lady Huskies now advance to the regionals, which will take place here at Heckhead starting next Friday. Good group right there. Congratulations to them. But work is not done. DeAndre Hall's back in now for Texas Southern, feeding outside to Matthew Miller for 3. Wolfinger the rebound, but a foul. And I believe this will be tagged against Washington, and specifically on Scott Suggs.
He's trying to block out, but rode him a little bit too hard underneath the basket there.
Suggs had an interesting introduction to Husky culture. He got a broken nose from playing in a pickup game with John Brockman. That's a fine how do you do, huh? Welcome to the campus. When a guy 255 hits you right in the nose, breaks your nose.
Yeah.
6:20 to go. Second half, Huskies 73, Texas Southern 45. Denton inside to Joe Wolfing. Drop step spin, the hook, no, tipped. Matthew Miller comes up with it. Drewy hops into the lane, and he's fouled in the act.
Now that's interesting. He got the ball in that same position several times against Brockman and never went at it. He never put the ball on the floor like that when Brockman was in the game.
Artem Wallace is set to come in as well. The Huskies, Artem Wallace comes in for Elston Turner. So a great opportunity for the bench crew to come in as they play with a couple of starters. That's always important for continuity in your game. The starting backcourt is on for the Huskies. Wolfinger, Wallace, and Suggs up front. Denton the runner. Wallace to follow, right back up and in.
Well, he's been sitting over there paying attention because Huskies been wearing that spot on the floor out with the offensive rebounds.
Texas Southern, they don't find a body when the ball goes into the air.
Yeah, and it's really tough to do against when you're playing zone as well, and the Huskies go to the offensive glass so hard that it's kind of a poor choice, but about the best that they could do because they just can't match up with them with personnel man for man.
Miller. 9 to shoot. Open shooter. And the follow-up and in. Good weak side rebound and the putback. On the missed three, Jack Jones coming in from the weak side, flying in. And he's fouled.
Well, Norwood's been knocking down some outside shots for Texas Southern. He missed that one, but a good job to get to the offensive glass and get that putback. And those guys that just came off the bench, I know they're a little bit cold, but you have to come in and maintain the level of play and not allow things to drop off. And this is their opportunity to earn minutes and maybe make that bench even deeper. So you have to come in and do your job when you get your chance. There's another offensive rebound for Texas Southern and another.
Denman strips it, tips it out of bounds. Last touch by Washington. Vanoy Overton is back in the lineup, and Thomas goes back to the bench. So all the Huskies have seen time tonight. Foul on the inbounds on Washington. Suggs. And this will put Texas Southern back up to the line with 5:05 left in this second half. 75-48 Huskies. How about this for an early season college hoops matchup? 5th-ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs travel to Pullman to take on the Pac-10 powerhouse Washington State. Don't miss the big in-state showdown. Wednesday night, 6:30, only on FSN. Gonzaga played today against Indiana, won that one 70-54. Boy, Hoosiers are just getting beat up this year. That's the way it goes, though, when you've changed the program. The program has been where it has been the last few years. Washington State has beaten Gonzaga the last 2 times they have played. Cougars up next to take on Baylor.
And Cougars, scheduling-wise, play number 4 Pitt, 24 Baylor tonight. Then they have to come back and take on the Zags next week.
Artem Wallace, good hustle to the ball. He had a severe knee injury to the right knee at the end of the season last year and is still rehabbing the knee.
And that caused him to pick up quite a bit of weight in the offseason as he was rehabbing, so he's just now kind of getting into shape.
Suggs hits a 3. $86-49 with 4:09 left here in the ball game. Drewy steps out. Miller will get it back. He'll raise for three. Overton has Denman in a foot race, and he is fouled. And that's a good aggressive play, but a little too overzealous. And a breakaway foul called. Jack Jones. That's his fifth. So Jones fouls out. Timeout Texas Southern as they try to regroup here with the Huskies leading 80-49. Junior from California, Quincy Pondexter, 6'6", has played very, very well here this evening. He has come up with 8 assists so far.
This will be 3 straight consistent games for Quincy. He's been doing it in a variety of ways. He's scored, he's rebounded, and today he does it on the offensive end by distributing the ball to his teammates. So, they've been looking for that consistent play, and it looks like they're starting to get it from him. And again, that's just going to make the Huskies even a stronger basketball team.
13 points, 8 assists, 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line. Well, he's been dealing out so many times, he's got to put ice pack on the hand.
You got he and Brockman both sitting over there with ice packs on their left hand.
Technical foul called on the breakaway. Denman to shoot 2. He hit the first. And the Huskies lead now 81-49. High scores thus far. Matthew Ryan Ammoning, career high 18, 8 of 8 from the field. Brockman 15 and 11. Quincy 13 and 8 assists. And Isaiah Thomas with 10 points. Excellent balance by the Huskies.
Yeah, always good to have 4 guys in double figures. You got to like that.
Whippinger triggers outside missing, and the long rebound held by Texas Southern with 3.5 minutes left in the game. DeAndre Hall. Damian Henderson dribbling, trying to force it in, deflected. There's no way he was getting that in.
I don't know what he saw.
Whatever it was just a glint, just a glimmer. And that microsecond passed fast. And Southern gives it up, but they get it back. 2 shots on the foul to Wolfinger. Deontay Jones from Las Vegas, Nevada. Freshman to step to the free throw line. Well, the trip continues for Texas Southern. On they go. Southwestern Athletic Conference play doesn't come, it seems like, for an eternity, but when they get there, this conference is, of course, full of great history.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we don't see a lot of SWAC teams make their way up to the Northwest very often, but the SWAC has been around since 1920, and it was actually established by 6 schools in Texas, and it has grown to what we know it to be today. But the teams in the SWAC: Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Alcorn State, Grambling, Jackson State, Mississippi Valley State, Prairie View, Texas Southern. And there's a lot of great history there. There's been a lot of great athletes that have come through the SWAC in a lot of different sports. Lim Barney, great defensive back for the Detroit Lions. Mel Blunt, Lou Brock from the St. Louis Cardinals. Willie Brown, Buck Buchanan. Of course, Willis Reed is a name people will recognize. Walter Payton, Steve McNair, Jerry Rice, Michael Strahan more recently. So there's a long line of great athletes that have come through the SWAC over the years, and it has a lot of history. And, Texas Southern will live to see better days than they're having right now.
Talking to Coach Tony Harvey before the game, and he learned a great deal from Ben Jobe, who coached at Southern. And Ben Jobe coached Avery Johnson when he was at Southern, and of course Avery got his start in the NBA here in Seattle as a free agent, came on board, made the ball club.
If you're a basketball historian, if you haven't seen the piece Black Magic, just a great historical perspective of the African American experience from the college, perspective, going, way back to about the time when the SWAC was actually put into play. That's a great piece that every basketball fan should see.
83-49 count, 1:41 left in the ball game. And Lorenzo Romar probably wishes they could play tomorrow. I mean, they are tuned up. They played well in rebounding off a 2-point loss to Florida. Before that, of course, there was the big loss to Kansas. They just weren't ready for prime time. And they've rebuilt things here in the last 3 games with wins over Pacific, Oklahoma State. Now it appears they'll obviously beat Texas Southern, but they'll have to wait 8 days for the next game when they play Portland State on the 14th.
Yep, well, like most of the schools around the country, they will get the academic work handled this upcoming week, take some time off with finals, and get all of those things in perspective. Huskies will come back next Sunday and play against Portland State here at Bank of America, and then they'll get into the holiday time where teams will be very busy, and they'll continue that 8-game homestand. Washington's
first Pac-10 game will be on January the 3rd when they travel to Pullman to take on Washington State. 83-52 count. Deontay Jones scoring with 1:13 left in the ball game. Wolfinger a 3. And a good 3-point shooter. The 7-footer knocks it down.
And that's his game right there. You talk about pick and roll. He's more of a pick and pop guy than a pick and roll guy, but he can shoot that ball when he gets squared up and has time to get a good look at the basket. He's got a nice stroke for a guy 7 feet tall.
The 86 points, the most points Washington has scored this season. Suggs comes down with a rebound. Wiry guard works his way across midcourt. Washington shooting 59% for the game. Primarily because they've gotten inside looks. Wallace gets it back on the block. And he'll lob it up and in. That puts the Huskies at 59%. They've shot 43% from 3 and 68% from the line. 17 seconds left, tipped out of bounds, and Texas Southern will take it. A reminder that Washington State and Baylor coming up next. On offense, it's ranked in the top 20 in the nation against a defense 4th in the nation. Nearly 85 points a game against the Cougars, who are 2nd in the nation in fewest points allowed at about 44 games. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, I look forward to that being a great contest, great contrast of styles.
Suggs, in a sign of sportsmanship, will dribble it out, and that will do it. 88-52, the Huskies defeat Texas Southern. Washington goes to 5-3 on the year, and Texas Southern going to 0-8. The Washington Huskies led by the 18, a career high for Matthew Bryan Ammoning, and Quincy Pondexter's 13 points, 8 assists, with Isaiah Thomas contributing 10 points. And of course, as always, John Brockman, the ever-present 15-point, 11-rebound performance.
Yeah, another outstanding performance by Brockman leading the way, but you got to love the balanced scoring that they have with 4 guys in double figures, and a good way to finish off the week here.
That's Francis Williams. I'm Kevin Calabro. We'll say so long from Seattle, where the Huskies win. Cougars come up next as they meet the Baylor Bears on FSN.